More money is flowing into new startups than ever before. But why is that, and can all of them make money? I'm Alex Webb, and this is The Attention Economy, where we look at all the ways that global business is fighting for your attention. Last year, venture capitalists poured $1.4 billion into publishing startups in the US and Europe, more than double the amount of any prior year. There's been an explosion of well-capitalized news startups with names like Airmail, Puck, Punchbowl, Protocol, Grid, The Information, Tortoise, and Axios. Not to forget, of course, Substack, which lets writers create subscription newsletters. Even my boss's boss's boss, Justin Smith, is getting in on the act and leaving to found his own news startup. And established media companies are paying a lot of money to acquire some of these firms. The New York Times just agreed to acquire sports website The Athletic for $550 million. And Axel Springer, the German giant, wrote a check last year for $1 billion to acquire Politico. The thing is, has anything meaningfully changed in the economics of news? Well, the short answer is no, not really. What has changed slightly is the approach. The one thing that these websites mostly have in common is a keen focus on a given subject matter. So The Athletic, as you might guess, focuses on sports in the US and UK. The Information, well, that's a tech website originating in Silicon Valley. Puck, meanwhile, describes itself as being at the nexus of Hollywood, Wall Street, Silicon Valley, and Washington. They tend to hire established journalists who they hope will bring an audience with them. Politico is the OG here. What started as a DC news sheet has since evolved into a glossy chronicle of politics on both sides of the Atlantic. The key is to build a passionate audience. If you can do that, you can maybe circumvent some of the tech gatekeepers like Google, Facebook, and Twitter by convincing people to come straight to your website. And if you can get that loyal audience, you can then think about how to make money from them. In fact, it's a playbook straight out of Silicon Valley. There are fundamentally 4 ways to make money. Firstly, of course, digital subscriptions. The New York Times has turned that into a $600 million a year business. Then there's licensing, where you can think about selling your stories to other publications. Then you've got the advertising business, of course, not quite as lucrative as it once was. And finally, commerce, where you can think about selling some of the products that your journalists review. That last one is the business model for Future plc. It's Britain's best performing stock of the past 5 years. It's returned 2,000% to investors and snapped up established magazine brands like The Week, Horse and Hound, and Country Life in the process. The key seems to be to start small, focus on a given subject and do it well before thinking about expanding. If you can do that, it's lower risk for investors. And in the world of remote work and cloud computing, a small amount of capital can go a long way.